This is my hand. Like many basic non-technical anatomical terms, it comes into English from Proto-Germanic to Old English to Middle English to Contemporary English. Because the Anglo-Saxons obviously had a word for the hand, and it wouldn't have had to come through Latin or Greek. If you are interested, the Latin for hand is manus, from which we get words like manual or manipulation. But this video isn't primarily about language, but rather about computer keyboards. However, do make sure to subscribe if you do want language updates in the future. But firstly, let me introduce you to some basic movements that we first-year medical students need to learn for anatomy. There's abduction and adduction, A with a double D. Let's say I'm happy typing along and I want to use Control or Shift because let's be honest, who uses caps lock? I'm going to have to adduct my hand and then flex my pinky like that. Or let's say I'm just having my hand in a resting position. I'm going to have to do that exact same thing. Adduct my hand, putting my fingers in a really awkward position. I'm not a doctor yet, but let me tell you, having fingers in awkward positions is probably not the best for you. Same thing happens on the right hand. Let's say we want to hit the Enter key on our right hand. Again, we have to adduct that pinky and put it in a really strange position. The Enter key is one of the most pressed keys and probably one of the heavier keys on the keyboard. So that's a problem as well. Okay, now next go to a website where you can download Sharpkeys such as this one. All you have to click is this. I'm just going to point out that when you click it, next, install, close, and then open Sharpkeys. Let me move my head out of the way. So we have Sharpkeys here. All you have to do is to add a key. For example, what I want to do is I want to swap Control and caps lock. I want to make caps lock Control. So you can just type it in. I typed in caps lock and I want to turn it into the left Control. And I'll click OK. And I'm also going to move Shift up to Tab because I find when I want to, for example, do the $sign, I don't have to make that massive like hand, I don't even know what that's called, but like extreme abduction / adduction. Obviously, ideally, you'd want to just type more slowly, use Shift on your right hand, and then click the $sign, press the $sign with your left hand, but we don't have that time necessarily all the time. So I'm going to make the Tab key the Shift key. And then I also do use the Tab key. I never use the caps lock key, but I do use the Tab key. So I'm going to make the Shift key the Tab key. That. Final thing I'm going to do is I'm going to swap semicolon and enter. Now I will say that I don't actually use QWERTY, which means that I use a different layout where that where semicolon isn't actually a semicolon. I'll talk about this in another video. I've been planning that. But just for the sake of this, because most people use QWERTY, I'm going to change semicolon to enter. I just click right to registry. Then you have to log out or reboot. So I'm going to do that now. And now to wrap things up, a brief reminder that this is the original keyboard. Our keyboard now looks like something like this, and you can change it up to whatever you want. Like some people like using backspace, having an extra backspace on the left side as well. There's actually a form of Colmac, so in another video I'm going to talk about why I don't use QWERTY. But there's a form of Colmac where you can have a caps lock there, a backspace there instead of the caps lock, which some people enjoy and think is useful as well. So I'm just going to film this on my phone because I don't have free hands, unfortunately. Let's say I'm typing along with my left hand and I want to like Control A. I only have to use the caps lock key, and let's say I want to make it unbolded like that. And then let's say I want to replace this with a $sign. I don't have to reach down here, I can just do that. And let's say I also want to enter. I don't have to reach out here, I can just do that. In Colmac as well, which I'll talk about in a future video. the semicolon is actually a letter, which will obviously change things up. But I think the main purpose here is to show that you can just change it up to whatever you want. It doesn't have to be what I've suggested. It just should be to whatever is best for your own posture, for your own layouts, desk layout, whatever, just to make sure it's as comfortable as possible. And I'd highly encourage not staying in the same position, not sitting down, etc., etc., for long periods of time. That goes with anything really. You don't want to make no progress. You want to continually improve and find better and more effective ways to do things. So that wraps it up. Stay subscribed for more videos.